The underground rap scene. We all love it, right? Right, from the rappers, the YouTubers, the TikTokers, whatever else may apply, it's easily the biggest it's ever been since the 2016-2018 SoundCloud wave. And that's where all the compliments dies down, because there's a lot that y'all glorify on here that we need to talk about. I feel like these specific things I'm going to talk about is why I feel like the underground won't succeed in the long run. Well, at least the current underground. And let me say this before I start, I'm not calling out any specific artists, for the most part at least. In this video, it's just general opinions of why I think it's currently in a sad space. And whoever y'all think it applies to, y'all can comment away and let me know. Y'all may be right, y'all may be wrong. I'll let y'all know. But with that out the way, what's up everyone? This is Energies, and I feel like I made my point clear in the intro, and I know the topic of underground is basically government mandated in the YouTube side of things, but it's kind of hard not to talk about it, especially with how interesting to say the least it is. But intro aside, here's my reasons of why I think the underground can't succeed at the moment. To start off this video of why I feel like the underground can't succeed, and I feel like not a lot of content creators in this space is talking about it, we simply move on too quickly from the rappers. With the amount of rappers that blow up in the scene, there's also a good amount that instantly fall off the grid as well. And that could be because of the rappers themselves not taking advantage of the opportunity when it's in their hands, or simply the rappers not taking any risks or doing anything different, which makes the general consensus move on to somebody else after 1 to 2 months. Like, let's look at some of the underground juniors I mentioned in the iceberg vid I did. Y'all should watch, by the way. When was the last time you thought of Young Chris? When was the last time you thought of Cash Dami? Besides him getting ratioed. I may or may not like what I'm about to say here, but when was the last time you thought about Tana? Although Tana is the only person who's still somewhat relevant out of everybody I just named, I'm pretty sure if he wasn't around established artists like Cardi or Tekka, y'all would have been left him in the dust because he doesn't drop enough to keep an audience. Outside of his fan base, let me not say an audience, but you don't bring him up whatsoever when you talking about underground music. But it's not just a consistency issue that could be the case. It also could just be the fans simply getting tired of the sound, or you're simply not being pushed enough. And the more recent artist that I instantly thought of while making this video, let's use Yappo JJ for example. Now the thing with Yappo JJ, I see a good amount of people on here ask what happened to him, and the thing is, literally nothing. He drops pretty consistently, especially on SoundCloud. You would think in a lane full of aura farmers and leakers, they would appreciate that. But no, outside of his fan base, which is a very small bubble, nobody talks about Yappo JJ. Especially compared to his peers like Osama Sun, Xavier So Bass, Netspin. Well, let me take Netspin back. I don't see y'all talking about his music anymore, thank God. All those people I just named are pretty popular enough to the point of debatably leaving the underground. Meanwhile, Yappo JJ unfortunately got left behind. And my reason of why that's the case is because I feel like Yappo JJ is in the same spot as current Jace. Ironically, they're signed to the same label, but anyway. Yeah, you're dropping back to back, but it don't feel like actual projects. It just feel like a playlist worth full of songs that just so happen to be called a project, which doesn't give the general consensus to fully appreciate his newer catalog, which again, Yappo JJ drops back to back, and in his case, people say he's pretty hit or miss overall, so it's not gonna stick. To my knowledge, Yappo JJ don't do anything on the social media side of things. He just tease music and take pictures inside of his house, which is not a bad thing at all, but in a realm full of gimmicks and controversy, of course, people are going to assume that he fell off because you don't see him on social media like that. Unless you're really tapped in with Yappo JJ, which is, again, a very small bubble. There's only a few rappers in the scene who can get away with not doing too much, but it is a very small handful. Because if it's not the rappers themselves being goofy on the internet, then it's the fan base doing it for them, which leads up to my next argument. Now, you got your terrible fan bases in rap. You got your Cardi fans, you got your Youngboy fans, you got the female rap fans. I'm not going to say a specific one, I don't want to get doxxed. And obviously, the underground fans. But I think the underground fans is easily the worst out of all of them. Because in what world do we need to see not one, but 2 Osama Sun leaks? And I'm not talking about music when I say leaks in his case. Well, not yet at least. Since we on the topic of Osama Sun, trust me, he plays a big factor in this layer and probably the next one as well. Why in the hell Did y'all go after that girl that made some plans cover a while back? Now, before I say what I have to say about her, she is low-key bad as shit. I know that has nothing to do with the topic at hand, but anyway. Y'all have no idea who I'm referring to. This woman on TikTok by the name of Kina Zara, who basically covers the songs on her TikTok page, did a specific cover for the song Made Some Plans off the Jump Out album, and it definitely gained some attraction, like a lot of attraction. Crazy viral on TikTok, and people had a lot to say about it. Some thought it was good, some thought it was bad, but that's not the issue comes in. That's pretty normal. But the underground community response was so terrible. Basically, the underground community was not too fond of this cover, claiming that she ruined Osama's son, basically hating the fact that he's getting popular as if bro didn't have 1 million monthly listeners prior to this. Some fans went even to the point of sending her alleged threats, all because of one simple cover.
How do you deal with the hate? Like, do you just not read it?
Sometimes I do. And then, like, I remember I just saw someone had sent me, they're like, I hope she gets shot. Like, a bunch of people reposting that. And I'm like,
yeah, that's the thing. People are gonna, like, just...
I know. And I'm like, I'm gonna pray for you guys.
I'm not 100% on her side because of this post I'll put up on the screen, basically saying that she made Osama's son popular, which is far from the truth. But this is the same fan base who leaks this man's entire existence, music, or even outside of his music. Some even going to his concerts, even mocking his sex tape by even having a flag of it or wearing a shirt of the sex tape. But a song cover is where y'all draw the line, not the fact that y'all are ruining this man's life, possibly. And we gotta give props to Osama's son himself for being strong enough, because the amount of leaks music-wise of his that drop almost every other week, and he still dropped 2 albums this year while also going on tour for those said albums. No other rapper is gonna do that for a fan base like that. But he also play a factor in the next segment, but we'll get into that when we get into that. And don't let their favorite rapper get anything past 100K. It's like a damn race on who listened to the specific person first, instead of being happy on the fact that their favorite rapper is getting more recognition and instantly claiming that they're mainstream and how they're now quote unquote ruined, like I mentioned earlier, when that's literally not the case at all. Just because Rest in Bass have 1 million streams on every song on Spotify does not mean Che is mainstream. He's still considered underground. Seeing Prada Bag Shorty perform at an NBA game recently, he has 500 monthly listeners, less than that actually. He's still considered underground. 1300 Sync was on Thug album recently, and I highly doubt y'all would consider him mainstream because he has less than 100K monthly listeners. And all of this up to say, chill out with the gatekeeping. I understand that some artists, when they get hired, the fan base get terrible, but y'all ain't any better trying to gatekeep these people when clearly they're elevating and building up their careers. Not everybody want to stay underground forever. This segment could be a whole video of itself because the way originality, especially this year in the underground, is so non-existent. I could talk about the whole St. Peter thing with Osama's son's Psychotic album. Hell, all of his album covers could be talked about, because the St. Peter thing literally sparked up this conversation of quote unquote homage. From album covers flat out copying already established artists, more specifically Cardi and Uzi, because once again, it's quote unquote homage. Even in some cases, it's in the music from sample demons like Non-Vicious. Granted, I like Non-Vicious music, but him doing back-to-back samples, it could get very tiring and people will easily move on in like a year or so. We even got some cases where someone is blatantly copying someone we already know sound and not even changing it up in the slightest.
This on me, he gone. I'm like, where he go? Check my comments on the song, they like natural flow.
I understand everyone is going to be inspired in some shape or form, but some of y'all just genuinely need to sit down and think about your own ideas, because first impressions really means a lot. And seeing y'all copy someone who already inspired by someone else, for example, I highly doubt y'all music is gonna go far. Just for y'all music to be Twitter promos, not even the music, it could be just the album covers that I'm referring to, be Twitter promos, and y'all getting bidded on, and we move on in like a week, nothing more. Is it just me, or it seems like as soon as a rapper who was once a part of the underground and start to elevate, possibly going mainstream, moving away from the underground, there's instantly a stigma that they're washed, no matter if their music is still good or not. The two examples I would like to use in this case is Ken Carson and Autumn. Ken Carson, it's funny how some people on social media say he's washed all of a sudden ever since he got crazy popular with A Great Chaos and More Chaos. More Chaos, I'll give y'all that if y'all not a fan of, because although I thought the album was fine, but I understand how someone could get tired of him doing the chaos sound. But saying it's the same song, intentionally missing the point of the album name being called More Chaos, no shit is gonna sound similar to the last project. But the main reason I wanted to talk about Ken Carson, because I seen him and Apollo Red have an interaction with Nick and Knight, and if y'all don't have a clue of who I'm referring to, Nick and Knight is basically known for having shitty takes, whether it's on TikTok or his live streams with Duty, and in this case with the Opium members, it's no different. He still have another shitty take.
I think we're good, bro. I think we're good. It's just gonna be even more chaos. Just the same shit he's been doing for the past 2 years. So, I really don't think we need this.
I don't have a problem with Nick at all. If anything, him having dog shit taste is very funny and what makes him entertaining. But one thing that bugged me about this video in particular is his use of saying we. And he said it multiple times during the video, saying that we, yes, you and me, are good off Ken Carson music entirely. When whole time, if you've been around before A Great Chaos, literally when it's around Halloween time, Ken Carson either drops the Lost Files series or at least 1 or 2 songs of that matter, and they're usually good. So for him to say we're good off Ken Carson entirely and other horrendous takes that I didn't mention is pretty crazy nonetheless. Mind you, Nick has somewhat of his fan base on his social media platforms, so if the small-minded fans, if he has any, sees that he's implying, or these Twitter pages imply that, oh, we're good off Ken Carson entirely, then they're gonna believe that we're good off Ken Carson entirely. When based off the clips we're seeing off the Antagonist tour, this is far from the truth. If anything, Ken Carson is getting more hype from the crowd than Cardi from what I'm seeing. And he's not even the headliner. And it is all of an Opium tour, so they're technically all headliners, but you get my point. And for Mr. A. Diddy himself, it could be me being slightly biased, but every time I see a discussion regarding his new music, people instantly call it trash but never give a reason why. And it could be because Autumn being, well, Autumn, and also that Mexican who allegedly didn't know who Lexi 2 Legit was before busting in her. But come on, Rolling Stone was actually tough compared to the other recent drops. Come on, I can't be the only one that liked it. He's still pulling reasonable streams despite him being corny, yeah, I know, and fell off according to the underground space when whole time he moved away from the space entirely. He's not super mainstream, but depending on who you ask, he is definitely considered a mainstream act now. Yeah, he doesn't do Plug and B as much anymore, but generally, when was the last time y'all thought about Plug and B? It's not 2021 anymore where that was all the range. It's about mosh pit, loud music now. And I'm not saying Plug and B is dead as a whole. There's probably a couple artists who still make that music. But I'm saying compared to the loud mosh pit music, people are not talking about that. So Autumn just makes IG highlight music, which is clearly working out for him. And I may or may not be going to that Rolling Stone concert if he comes over here next year, but hey bro, keep that between us. Nobody else needs to know. Well, if bro don't cancel at least, cause you know, I don't know if niggas got school or what. When I say those people, I'm not just talking about a certain demographic of most of the new underground fans, because I already been doing that this entire video. It's about these rappers who's clearly from a different background and try to shame the idea of them being rappers, when the whole time that's where they blew up from. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. UK rapper by the name of Big Meek apparently called out Netspin for some reason, and usually I wouldn't give a fuck about any of this, but something stood out to me about this video.
But yeah, just had to clarify. I mean, I'm barely a rapper, I'm an artist. But I'm better than rapping at all these rappers.
I'm barely a rapper, I'm an artist. These are the niggas y'all blow up. Well, let me not say niggas, because clearly he's not that, but he's British, Indian, and also makes ass music. 3 strikes and you out like shit. I can tag Tournament 2 ass music y'all listening to. And it's not even just him. I already talked about Ian enough on here, so I'm not going to do it for too long. But recently he did a promo where he pretended to be a country singer. And I'm not going to lie, that was smart on his end, because that shows how some of y'all don't have attention spans. But after seeing the reception of his newer project, which I didn't even bother to listen to because, again, y'all know I don't like Ian, then it's not going to be too far from reality that he actually becomes a pop star, possibly a country singer. I give him about 2 to 3 years before he make that shift. And the Virginia Grim Reaper himself, Netspin, he doesn't even make music anymore. It's more of his image being more popular than the actual music when he was first coming up in 2023, 2024. All I'm saying is underground rap is the method for outsiders, because you clearly see that fake make character all over the place with Drake and Cardi. And I had to do research prior to the video because I seen his name but never no music. And I was shocked with the amount of streams he got. And Lord and behold, his music sound like early 10s underground rap. Very original. But I bet you if Fake Make or anybody in his caliber who don't want to be labeled as a rapper, who clearly makes rap music, I bet you they would accept any form of award regarding rap. Like Tommy Richmond, for example. Y'all remember him? All I'm saying is, if y'all gonna let the outsiders inside the space, at least make sure they appreciate the music enough to be respected, because y'all let anybody in and be shocked when they spit on y'all face. Or at the very least, let them make good music, because none of them can clearly do that. And that's my conclusion of why I feel like the current underground can't succeed. I'll say it again, I know the scene is the biggest it's ever been, but with the issues from the fan base or the artists themselves, it just seemed oversaturated, and I think we need a slight reset. Not a major one, just a slight one. Because although the music is pretty good depending on who you listen to, it's very dark outside of that. And unless these changes happen, it won't get any better. But I'm gonna end the video right here. If you like my vids, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know how you feel about the underground. Do you agree or disagree with my takes? Let me know. I like reading comments. But follow the social medias. Like, comment, share, subscribe if I haven't said it already. This is Angeeson.